Hi, welcome to the introduction to the Marxian economics course online version. Um, my name is Kerem Cantik and I am the instructor of the course. And as this recording is taking place at the beginning of the um, spring 2021 semester. Uh, you might be studying in this semester, but if you are not, if basically this, if you are not, then let me tell you that the semester has been online because of the COVID-19 pandemic that's happening now. If pandemic somehow continues and we need to continue to have online education in coming successive semesters, and I need to give this course again online, I plan to use these recordings partially or totally. Although I also plan to make some revision in the courses, but wherever it is possible, I want to use recordings also, unless I know I can make better versions of them. And if we return to the face-to-face education, also I plan to I at least consider to possibility that maybe these video lectures can be used and in class, inside of the class, instead of doing the lecture, we can do other activities. I will consider that possibility. So you might be listening this introduction in a different semester also. That's what I want to say. Whatever it is, um, the things you listen now are should be relevant. If they are not, I will make a new presentation if what you listen here is not relevant. As a starting point, one thing that is not relevant, I just forgot to change this. We don't anymore have a definite office hour. Instead, the whole office hour thing will go by appointment. Because it's not productive anymore to have a definite office hour, since the plans of people, the schedule of people who have the course might change wildly. Not anymore. You are living in a campus. People are living in a campus where life is more or less structured, basically. So the office hours is not anymore relevant here. So office number is also not relevant. These are my emails, although this email is the Matthew email is the one I use more for academic purposes. This is more my personal email, and if you write there, that email might be lost by between other emails, basically. If you ever sent me an email, it's a good idea to write all the subjects that are related to the email, to the topic of the email. And if there are especially important two different subjects you are sending email for, then it's a good idea to send the email according to those two separate emails for those two subjects. Well, what happens is sometimes people are just sending me email with, for example, assignment 2, assignment 3. Well, in this course you have the literature reviews, and also you might send midterm or final. But while sending their midterm and final, for example, some students also ask certain important questions at the same email. But when I see with the email the midterm and final attached, and final and midterm written in the topic, I just assume they have sent the final and midterm. And I leave it until I print all the midterms and finals at the same time once I get them all. And while I wait, I might not be able to answer the question because I assume that email is just on the midterm or final. That's why I said it's a good idea to write all the topics and in some cases also send separate emails for separate subjects. Anyway, let me continue. A little bit on myself. This will change every year, but I think if it's just this, I won't make any new introduction. So you can just take into account how many years have passed from the 2021 spring semester. If it is just this, I won't change I won't have a completely new introduction. Anyway, well, I studied as a mechanical engineering student in Ankara campus Milli Technical University, and I really liked engineering. By the way, engineering is a top subject which fascinated me. I mean, the humans basically take the material and produce things that do in many ways magnificent things, basically. So how this process goes on, how basically this production process is planned, designed, and what are the theories behind it, all of these things were fascinating for me. So I could very well work as an engineer, but I was also interested in the social organization, social structure, and how this society could get into a better form. So economics was always also something that was for me interesting, especially because it is kind of at the heart of this social structure. So at the end of my middle secondary university school years, I did not get an immediate job as an engineer, also because of the military service, basically. But I immediately, my friend has encouraged me to apply for economics programs in various universities at different countries, and I got accepted by two of them actually. One of them was New School University in New York. The other one was in Texas. And New School was a better university in its education, basically. It gives a variety of economic theories and economic, let's say, views, basically. So I decided to go to path that was open to me rather than waiting the other path, the engineering, finding an engineering job and working as a mechanical engineer. Although if I got it could be very well possible that I could also have worked as an engineer, mechanical engineer, basically. But I took the other path and I make a master in the New School University in New York City, where I met a lot of instructors with different views. Both fascinated me, actually. Two professors I liked most. One was Marxist economist, who actually introduced me to the Marxian economics. The other one was just opposite, actually. He was working on the very pure neoclassical economic models that are completely mathematical. I mean, you don't see the human aspects of the economics in his courses, but still, his models were also fascinating in many ways, in my opinion. I mean, trying to make these human interactions, turn them into mathematical formulas. I mean, that itself was a very interesting thing for me. And both professors were very passionate, and that's what I liked with them most. Then for PhD, again, I got accepted by two universities. One of them was actually University of Athens. The other one was University of Utah. I really like Greece, and I was considering to go to Greece. But in the end, of course, University of Utah was a much better university. So I decided at that stage it was more important to go to get the better education. Uh, so I got my PhD from the University of Utah, basically, where I got also introduced to very in education uh, which informed me on very diverse subjects, very diverse, let's say, uh, viewpoints and topics in economics. Um, And University of Utah was also allowing me to teach courses, not be assistant, but actually teach courses. But the first time I teach was actually the Bosporus University was also allowing the PhD students to come and teach courses in it. So first time in the summer, first time I first course I taught was in Bosporus University, a macroeconomics course, and then I taught courses in further in Bosporus University, in the University of Utah, and in one summer I also went to China and taught two courses there, which was it was a different type of setting actually. You just teach courses for 2 weeks, basically, and this is third year I teach here in Middle East Technical University in TRNC campus. So, well, when I first taught Marxian economics course, which was in the University of Utah, certain aspects of the course were difficult for the students to understand. Actually, I could not make the students to get certain rules of this course. I got that from the evaluations of the course. For example, certain critiques. I mean, they were actually criticizing things that were real, but certain critiques were there, and I took them very serious. Actually, I always look the critiques in detail. Some critiques are not you cannot do anything about it. I mean, if they say the instructor is very bad, but don't write why it is so, then you cannot do anything about that. Other critics like accents, I mean, for example, they might criticize your accent or speaking. You might work on it, but not immediate results can be achieved in a day. For other critiques, for example, certain organizations, you might work more faster. I mean, you might change certain aspects of the course, for example, the workload, for example. And in some cases, for example, some of my students were arguing that they needed assignments or the course was too easy. I mean, giving grades too easy. I got this type of reviews also. But some reviews, for example, one of the review was stating the course was not giving a feedback to the students. Actually, I mean feedback in form of grade, basically. That was what they were meaning. Although the course was giving feedback, I mean there were options. But the assignments from which you were getting feedbacks were optional, not necessary, not mandatory. And there were also some other critiques, like, for example, the course was not related to what we were doing to the real life, although in a non-mandatory part of the course, I put half of the course was almost on the practical issues, basically. So I decided to explain the core values on which I built the course so that the structure of the course will be better understood after that point. Actually, these values are the ones I use to build any course. I mean, a structure of any course. So they are: labor is most valuable resource we have. The course should be fair. The course should be providing flexible choices. I will talk more on them in the next